So if you read the title, then you know what I am here for. I want to show how I make my sticker sheets in Krita. This is not to say that this is the correct way to do it, or the only way to do it, or the right way to do it, or the perfect way to do it. This is just how I found the easiest way for me to make my stickers, because this is the program that I use to do the editing on all my photos and everything like that. So this is the process that I use to make my sticker sheets. Starting off, I use Krita, which is a free program to download. It is a digital drawing, I don't know what you call these things. It's digital drawing software, photo editing type of thing. Think like Photoshop, but like really dumbed down and like very basic, and for people that don't have the money for Photoshop, i.e. myself. So this is what I use to edit all my photos. So the first thing I'm going to do is just show you how I get like the sticker, I guess, the white border around the sticker. That's the word I was looking for. So I'm going to show how I get the white border around a sticker. I'm just going to use one of my more recent images, if I can find it. I'm too high up in my photos. So I drew my clown girl again. So I think I'm going to go for the clown girl. Actually, I think I'm going to go for Taurus. Yeah, we'll do Taurus since this was the last one I did anyways. So for me, it's really easy to remove the background off my images because I mainly work in black and white, and the background is usually just all white. I just click the white background, hit delete, and then it's good to go. So that's usually how I remove the background off of my images. So I don't typically have a lot to do when it comes to editing. So like I said, I usually just come over here and hit the magic select wand tool, whatever you want to call it. I hit the white background of my image, and then once all of that is selected, I just hit the delete button on my keyboard. It deletes the background. And then obviously I'll go in, like I'll hit the eraser tool. And then I'll go in, and if I see any areas that need to be like erased, I'll just like erase anywhere where the scanner didn't get all of the background off of the image. And that's typically how I clean up my images. So I don't have a lot to do when it comes to that. But when it comes to getting a border around my image, I do it one of two ways. So for something like this, since it's all one big giant thing, I'm going to attempt to do it the easy way. If it doesn't work, I'm going to try the other way. So, okay, so the first thing we're going to do after remove the background is we want to make sure that there's no more spots where there's like anything white or anything hanging out in the background. So to do that, I usually just select anywhere on the background. So it'll select the entire background, and then on my keyboard I hit Control, Shift, and then I. And what that does is it'll select the inverse of everything. So instead of selecting the background, it's now selecting everything except the background. And when it does that, I'm able to see all these little specks, if you can see those little shiny things. So I'm gonna go over to the paintbrush, I'm gonna grab my eraser, and anywhere that I see these little specks, I'm just going to erase, because I can't see it like with the naked eye when I'm looking at it. I didn't see any of these specks, but now that I know where they are, I can easily erase them. And because they're selected, it'll just erase that. But also remember, this is also selected, like the image. So I'm just going to stay away from that. But this is just the simplest way to remove all the little speckies that are hanging out, which I see some up here. And this is great because it selects them and outlines them, and it just gives you a guide so you can see exactly where they are. So I'm just going to do that. Okay, so I think I got all of the little speckies, so I'm just going to hit the wand tool again and select the gray background. So now I know there's no more little specky spots are hanging around. So now to get the white border that stickers typically have, I'm first going to, I don't need to enlarge it. I'm going to grab this movie tool. I don't know what this is called. This compass tool. And I'm going to drag my image up a little bit just so that I have some room on the bottom for the white border that I'm planning on putting around everything. So now there's enough space around the whole image where I can make this a sticker. So the first thing I'm going to do is hit copy layer, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste the layer. So now I have two of the exact same thing. Then I'm going to turn off the first one. So the first one, I just close the eye so I can no longer see it. I'm going to do the same thing again where I selected the background. And then I'm going to hit Control Shift I where I select just the image now. And then from there, I'm going to go over to the paintbrush tool I'm going to go back to my solid paintbrush, make sure it's on white, make my paintbrush as big as I can get it, and then I'm just going to paint everything in white. Okay, and once that's all painted in white, I'm just going to come up here to the top. I'm going to go to select, and then I'm going to go to grow a section. And I don't know how many pixels I'm going to have to grow it by at first, but I usually just like to start off with 20 and see what it looks like. So this image is a lot larger than I thought it was because 20 didn't get me very far. So I'm just going to try a bigger one now. I'm going to do the same thing. Select, grow section. 20 didn't get me very far. I'm going to try 50, see what happens. Uh, 50 gives me an okay border. Still not as big as I want it. I'm going to grow it again by another 50, so it'll double that. And if you can see with the edges. So all the white, that's where my image will end, and the space between the white and the dotted line is where all the white will be on my picture. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm making it thick enough that it still doesn't look quite as thick as I want it. I do want it to have like a nice, good border. So I'm going to grow it by 15 more, and then I think I'm going to stop there. Whatever it looks like, it's going to have to be good enough. I think that looks good. So then I'm just going to go ahead and fill that all in with white. Okay, and once I've done that, I'll click the wand tool again, select the background so it deselects it, and then I'm going to turn my top layer on again, and you can now see the white border on top of my, behind my picture. And this is how I get it for like the simple shapes. If it wasn't such a simple shape, I'd have to actually draw the background in, which isn't that hard, but it's just nice when it's like this and it's all uniform and it perfectly goes around every nook and cranny that it needs to go around. That's how I get the white border on my stickers. And now that I've showed you one, I'm going to show you how I do my full sticker sheets. Okay, now that we have our sticker file, it is now time to make our actual sticker sheet. So the first thing I'm going to do is change these sizes to inches, and then I'm just going to make it 9.25 by 6.75 because that is the maximum amount that you can do on a Cricut cut and print, and I have a Cricut, so that is what I'm going to be showing the process for. So I'm just going to hit create. All right, so now this is the maximum size I can use. I'm just going to change my my sizes up here to inches real quick. And then I'm going to drag myself a line just so I can get like a center point. Should be about there. Okay, so now this just divides the page into two because I do want to use the sheet for 2 sticker sheets, because obviously a full sheet would be entirely too big for a sticker sheet. Like, that's insanity. So next I'm just going to come over here and grab this square tool. I'm going to make the size a little bit smaller. I just want to see how thick it is real quick. I'm going to make the color black so we can see it. I'm just going to see how thick it is. Okay, that thickness is really nice. So that's the thickness I'm going to go with. I'm going to start here in the corner. And I do want to give myself just a little bit of a border. See that? I didn't give myself a border. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a border. Oh. I'm going to make it that big. And then I'm going to come over here to the compass tool, as I called it before, and just scooch this in a little bit. And that will be the size of my sticker sheet. All the stickers will go inside of this black box. So I'm now just going to move this line off the screen because I no longer need it. I'm going to come over here to layer. I'm going to hit copy layer. I'm going to hit paste layer, and that'll just give me a second box of the same exact size. It'll be right on top, so I'm just going to drag it over and then place it next to this one. I want to make sure they're lined up properly. Okay, looks good. So now I have my 2 squares for my sticker sheet. And then I'm just going to drop this layer so that it becomes one. So now we have our bottom white layer, and then we have our top layer, which has the squares on it. I'm actually just gonna turn off the bottom white layer. I don't want to see that because I need to be able to see where my white lines are going to be when I start putting the stickers in the sheet. So I want the background to be transparent. Also, it has to be transparent when you're ready to cut it anyways. So now I'm just gonna open up the files that I want to add. I done this already, and when I opened them all up at once, I guess the files were too big, my computer couldn't handle it, so I'm just gonna open them up one by one. So for this sticker sheet, I'm gonna be doing the star filled, so I'm gonna start off with this one. Now this one opened up in a new tab, so up here the star filled one is here, and my sheet is still over here. So I'm just gonna go back to this tab up here and click the star filled one. I'm going to hit Control A, which will select the whole thing, and then Control C, which will copy the entire thing. And then I'm going to close this because I don't need it anymore. Not the whole thing. I'm just closing the right here, just this tab, not the whole window. And then once I'm in my original one, I'm going to hit Control V, and that'll just paste my image in. Okay, and then I'm going to come over here to the Transform tool, which is this one over here, and then I'm going to hold Shift, and right in the corner I'm just gonna make it smaller, and holding Shift and while you're using the like the drag tool will keep it the same, will maintain the aspect ratio. All right, so there's the first sticker in the sheet. I'm gonna add 5. I think 5 on a sheet gives the stickers a chance to be at least around 2 inches each, and that's the size that I like to keep them when they're on the sheet. And when they're not on the sheet, I try to make them 3 inches when you buy them on their own. So that's the first one. And like I said, I'm gonna have to open all of these up individually because the first time I did it, my computer just can't handle that many files open at once at this size. They're too large. When I did it for my Pride shop, it was fine because the files weren't extremely large, but the art files are just very large. So I'm going to open up the next one, which is You Wish. I'm going to do the same process, Control A, Control C, and then I'm going to close this because I don't want my computer giving me any problems. Krita just shut down completely on me yesterday when I had everything open at once. It was not happy with me. So then I come over here, I'm just going to hit Control V to paste it in. And what that will do is it will paste this image on its own layer. So if you come over here, you can see that the first one I put is in one layer and the second one is in another layer. And that is what I want because I want to be able to freely move them around as I start to decide what size all the stickers are going to be. So I'm going to make this one can go closer to the edge. And once I have all of them on the sheet, I can obviously start playing around with the size a little bit more. But for now, I'm just going to make them about the size that I think the screen will allow me to. So this will be the next star-filled sticker. I'm going to hit Control A, Control C. I keep like losing my mouse. And I do want to close that because that's the one that was giving me problems. And I'm just going to paste that in now. Okay, and now I'm just going to resize this. This one's like kind of a different shape than the rest, so I think I can get away with it being, I'm just gonna stick it on top just to make sure it's like around the same size, you know. Okay, and then I'm gonna open up the next file. I'm trying to like do this in real time because a lot of the times I'll like speed up sections and you kind of miss out on half of what I'm doing. So I'm trying to make this in as real time as I can without the video being like 30 minutes long because we don't want that. But I want to show like the entire process of the sticker making so that if someone's doing it, they can just follow along exactly as I am. Exactly, exactly, exactly. Name that reference. We've now copied this. And then I'm just, actually, I want to not be selected on that one anymore. Just don't want any problems with that. And I'm just going to paste it in. With this one, it's a little bit longer and skinnier than the rest. So I think I'm going to have to, first I'm just going to stick it on top so I can make it around the same height. And then I'm going to turn it sideways I'm going to put it down here just so we have enough room. Actually, now that I'm looking at all these stickers, they can definitely get a little bit bigger, but I just want to get them all on the page first, and then I can start messing around with sizing. So I'm going to put the last one on because, like I said, I like to have 5 stickers in each sticker sheet. That's just the thing I like to do. So Control A, Control C, and then I'm going to close. If your files aren't as big as mine, you don't need to do this whole closing something every single time, but or if your computer can handle it. My computer can't handle it, so you don't have to do that. But for me, I have to close them each every time because Krita is going to shut down on me if I don't. Right, and this is the last one, and this is actually, it came in at the right size. So this file was actually really tiny. I didn't know it was that tiny. All right, so now that I have all of the files on here, I can actually start playing around with the sizing a little bit. I think I want this one to be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go onto that layer, which would be layer 6. And then I'm going to make her a little bit bigger. And I think as long as I keep her in the corner, and if I turn this one this way, I should be able to get a little bit more. Now it's touching the edge. If I do it like that, I'm trying to make sure, I'm going to zoom in so I can show you what I'm talking about. I'm trying to make sure that this white border and this white border aren't touching, and that this white border and this black line aren't touching, because that black line is my outline. So as you can see, it was touching this over here just a little bit, so I moved it in. These still are far away from each other enough that the Cricut can cut that. So that's good. So I'm going to leave it at that size. The head can now get a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go on the heads layer. So this is what the final sticker sheet design is going to look like. 5 stickers on each sheet. Each of them are about 2 inches. That's when I put the max size. If I put 5 stickers, they're about 2 inches. I don't want to say all of them are going to be exactly 2 inches because that'll be a lie, but they're just around 2 inches. So now it's time to duplicate this. So I'm going to go over here to the top layer. Make sure you're on the top one over here. And then I'm going to hit Control E, and it'll drop it down to the bottom one. And then I'm just going to do that for the remaining layers. So Control E, it'll drop that layer down. And then Control E, it'll drop the next layer down. And so what I'm doing is now this entire sheet, or not the entire sheet, all of these stickers are on one layer. So if I close the bottom layer, which has the border on it, this is now one image that can be moved around together. So I'm gonna put my borders back on, and then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna copy this layer 3 now, and then I'm gonna hit paste, and what that'll do is it'll put this exact same thing right on top of itself. So I'm gonna go over here to the compass tool. I'm just gonna drag the layer that I just copied over here. And so now I have a perfect duplicate of this sticker sheet, and it'll be exactly the same. All the sizes will be the same. I'm just making sure that the white isn't touching the black. So I'm going to go on this side. I'm just going to look real close, make sure none of the edges are touching the black. I'm going to let's go down a little bit. And then on the bottom, just make sure it's not touching anything. Very close, but it's not touching. Maybe I can scooch over just a little bit, just to give the Cricut enough room. And let me just look on this side now that I moved it a little bit and make sure this border isn't touching it. And it's not, it has enough room. Okay, everything looks good now. So now that both of these are where I want them to be, I'm now going to do the same thing. I'm going to take this top layer and I'm going to drop it down onto the bottom layer, and then I'm actually going to drop this layer down as well. So now the sticker images and the border are also on the same layer, and then I'm going to delete this background layer because we don't need it. But then I am going to fill in the outer edges because I don't need my Cricut cutting out the entire thing because I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to fill it in white just on the outside. On the inside, I'm going to leave that transparent. So just this outer border is now white. And the inner one is not. This way, all the Krita will cut around. The Krita, oh my gosh, the Cricut will cut around all of these images. And that is how I make my sticker sheets. So I'm actually going to put it into Cricut so you can see exactly how that works. Oh, you also want to just save this as a PNG file, by the way. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to hit save as. We're going to go to my art files. I'm going to change this to PNG. I'm going to save this as a star-filled sticker sheet. We'll save. Okay, now we're inside of Cricut Design Space. As you can see a couple of my other sticker sheets in there. So we're just going to go to New Project. We're going to go to Upload. These are the sticker sheets I was talking about for my Pride shop where I did the same exact process. So we're just going to go to Upload Image and then we're going to hit Browse. And then I'm just going to go to where I saved my file. And that would be the star-filled sticker sheet. And I'm just going to hit Open. This part I'm not really sure with. I always just go with complex because I'm doing a cut and print and I want the colors to be what they are. So that's what I'm going to go with. And I'm going to hit continue. And then from here, I don't have to do anything because I already did all that work in Krita. So I'm just going to hit continue again. And then I want to save it as a print and cut. So we're going to leave it on the print and cut image. I'm just going to hit save. All right, and then once that's saved into my upload images, I'm going to click the one that I just did, and then I'm going to hit insert image, and that'll bring it into my Cricut Design Space. Once it's in here, the actual sizes are way off, but we know that the width should be 9.25, so I'm going to make it 9.25, and then that'll just make it the exact size that it needs to be. That's all we have to do, and then I'm going to click Make It. We don't need to turn the mirror on or anything like that. This looks good to me. We're going to go to continue. And then we're going to hit send to printer. And this part is very important. Make sure you're clicking the right printer if you have more than one printer like I do. Mine always selects my sublimation printer first. That is just always the one it goes to. I needed to select my inkjet printer, so I need to go to my HVNV 85530 series. A couple of times I have accidentally printed on my sublimation printer and I was very upset about that. We're not going to add any bleed. And then we're just going to hit print. Okay, so before I actually hit print, I just want to show the sticker paper that I'm using. I am using a vinyl matte sticker paper for inkjet printers. I don't know if I enjoy this brand so much. The brand that I really, really like is the Royal Elements matte vinyl sticker paper. But for some reason, like they don't make that one anymore. They make it in glossy and clear and all the other ones, but they don't make them matte. So I'm still trying to find the matte sticker that I like the most, but this is the one that I'm using for now. I am still testing out sticker paper though, because this is not my favorite. So if you know any good sticker paper, let a girl know, because I'm not, it's not bad, but I know what the Royal Elements one feels like, and it feels really good. So I want that again. All right. Okay, and once my sticker paper comes out, this is what it looks like. So I have the 2 sticker sheets. Like I said, each sticker is about 2 inches. Some of them actually might be a little bit more. This one might be more than 2 inches, but this is what it looks like. So now I'm going to load it into my Cricut. Once I hit the load button, I come over to here and I'm going to toggle the fast mode because we don't need this cutting slow and all that. And then also my blade is on iron on, and that is just gonna kiss cut the vinyl, and it's not gonna cut it all the way through. It won't die cut it, so that way it'll be a sticker sheet. So I'm just gonna now hit the Cricut go button on the actual Cricut. Okay, once I have my stickers on here like this, it's time to cut out the actual sheet. So I'm gonna use my guillotine here. Just gonna peel this. Usually I would peel this. Actually, I'm gonna do it the right way. Just take this film, and you want to peel the mat away from the paper and not the other way. You don't want to peel the paper away from the mat. And there we are. And I'm just going to cut out these boxes individually. I don't know if it can be seen, but the actual border that I gave myself, it did cut it. And that's going to be my guideline for the guillotine cutter for where to cut. And then I have 2 sticker sheets. And this is what they end up looking like. I know some people like to get fancy and put like backgrounds on the sticker sheets and all that, but honestly, that part of the sheet gets thrown in the garbage, so I don't really feel the need to do that. I am gonna make a cute little like topper for it. I do have little cellophane baggies to put them in, but other than that, I don't really like feel the need to put a background on them. I don't know, for me personally, it's just not something that I want to do. They do look really cute when people do them, but just for me personally, I don't feel the need to do it. So this is what my sticker sheet looks like, and that is how I created it in, would you focus? And that is how I created it in Krita. And I'm just gonna peel one of these off so you can just see. It just peels right off like that. Yeah, but as you can see, this paper is like really floppy, which is why I'm trying to search around for a more substantial paper, because the other one that I used, the backer that it had on it, was a lot thicker and a lot more substantial than this. The vinyl was a lot thicker. Just everything in general was better quality. So yeah, I'm looking for better quality vinyl sticker paper. If anyone knows any, please let me know. Anyways, this is it. Bye bye.